This is Module 7, Things to be Mindful of in Guardianship. My name is Sue Weil, and I work for the Washoe County Public Guardian's Office. I am a Deputy Public Guardian. It's important to access the resources of knowledgeable people in the areas that you have questions on. For example, an attorney, an accountant, a real estate person if you're selling real property that may have knowledge of guardianship. Utilizing the assistance of certified advisors and people who have technical expertise in certain areas, financial advisors, social workers, case managers, attorneys, and accountants. It's also important to seek a second opinion for medical questions. Asking a doctor if he can refer you to another doctor so that you can get a second opinion is part of the obligation of a guardian. Seeking the emotional support that you need to keep your spirits up is also very important, whether it's through your pastor, other family members, or your support system. It's also important to keep a log of the things that you've done for your person. You want to be able to cite when and where and who you have interacted with. So if you go with your loved one to a doctor's appointment, you want to make sure you've written down the day, the date, and the information that you have received from that person. It's also very important to learn about the diagnoses and the medication, the prognosis, and the behaviors that you can expect from your loved one. Being knowledgeable of diagnoses and medications will allow you to have a more coherent conversation with a physician. It's really okay to ask a lot of questions. I have found that when you go into a doctor's office, they will say, this is the diagnosis and this is what we're going to do. And they talk really fast. And I have often had the experience where I said, okay, thank you so much. Now please stop and say it all over so I can understand better what you're saying to me. It's also important to stay calm and be reasonable, which does indicate that there will be situations where you want to be unreasonable and agitated, but it is important to stay calm and be reasonable. You get more results that way. A guardian does not have to know everything. They are required to utilize the professionals in the community to help their person under guardianship. Being a guardian is a serious responsibility. It is imperative that you know as much as you can about your person. It is also important to know the vocabulary that you're speaking of when you're dealing with the professionals in the community. Additionally, knowing how far your authority goes and how far you can direct people to do things for you is also very important. Those authorities are either listed in the order provided by the attorney or the judge, or they are outlined in the Nevada Revised Statute 159. It is important that you are able to communicate effectively with other members of the community who may be providing services to your loved one. You will need to be active and engaged in advocating for your person under guardianship. People and animals have a connection. When an individual can no longer care for themselves, it is likely that they can no longer care for the animal that they love. When an animal is such an important part of your person's life, it may be possible when choosing a residential facility that the animal may be able to accompany them. That would be a question that you would want to ask to the residential service provider, whether the cat or the small dog can stay with your person when they move to the new facility. If it's not possible for the animal to move to the new facility, is there a responsible family member that may be able to take that animal and also provide visitation to your person? There are a lot of emotional aspects to guardianship. Being a guardian is really hard. There are a lot of things that happen that you have to deal with your person about. Oftentimes that can include a role reversal between parent and child. Additionally, there are issues surrounding aging, dementia, paranoid behaviors, behavioral challenges that don't make any sense that your person is demonstrating. Guardianship can also affect family dynamics. If there are two siblings or a spouse and a sibling who have different alternatives or desires for the person under guardianship, conflict can arise. Additionally, there can be anger, frustration, and resentment from the person under guardianship while you are making their decisions for them. On the occasion that your decisions do not line up with the desires of the person under guardianship, it can be very difficult. Additionally, when there is a serious illness or there are difficult medical decisions and consents to be given, it is important for the family to be on the same page as much as possible. But as you know, a guardian is the ultimate decision maker. As the guardian, it is your decision as to how the physicians or the care facility will move forward. Additionally, there are also end-of-life issues. This is a very tender and complicated piece of guardianship. It's often nice if the person under guardianship has made an advance directive or given you an inkling of how they would like their life to end. It is the responsibility of the guardian to determine what their person or their loved one wants at the end of their life. Some people have purchased a burial plan, which is often called a pre-need. Those things have been purchased by their loved one through a local funeral home, and it often can outline exactly what the person wants after they have passed away. Others have indicated their wishes in a will or in another type of document. It is the responsibility of the guardian to determine what the final arrangements will be and if the preferences of the person under guardianship have been met. If there haven't been any wishes expressed by the person under guardianship, it is the responsibility of the guardian to have that conversation with your loved one. It is a difficult conversation to have, and oftentimes it's important to have that conversation at the beginning of a guardianship, when a person is the most likely to be clear and able to verbalize their wishes. In some cases, a guardian will want to purchase a burial plan or a cremation plan, or possibly to set aside funds in order to pay for the cremation after the individual has passed away. Please be careful and pay attention to the purchase of these plans and make sure that they are titled appropriately, as they may affect the eligibility for some governmental benefits.